we took advantage of the week off after such a big game for the club, and had a really good hit out on Saturday. We'll train tonight and then have another hit out on Wednesday. So I think our last campaign, we're coming off 2 6-day breaks, and it was a Thursday night game, so it's a little bit different. We've prepared slightly differently for that.
You're hoping that's better, I suppose, a little bit more time to...
Well, we reflected on last year and whether it was preparation, versus actual performance. We did reflect heavily on last year. Having a bye 2 years in a row is, at least you can plan a little bit differently, and even how you prepare yourself going to the end of the season, what you need to do, just in case that happens. But our planning was pretty short-lived, because we didn't qualify for finals until the last 4 minutes of the season. But we'll take the bye.
So does it feel any different, finals footy?
Oh, it always feels different. Yeah, I mean, that's what you play football for. It's such a long journey from, November for pre-season to get to this position. It's something you really got to grasp and comprehend, because it can come and go really quick. So this is our third campaign, and last year really disappointing, and this year we've got a massive challenge, a really, really big challenge. Port Adelaide at home is one of the greatest challenges in footy, so we're looking forward to it.
You mentioned that challenge. You've never lost to them at Adelaide Oval, albeit out of the 3 times. Do you talk about that, or what is it about the way you play that suits Adelaide Oval?
Look, we'll reflect on a little bit, but they're just memories. I think what we take out of it is our prep in the past. In particular, the Adelaide trips have been pretty good, with Adelaide Crows as well. So to say the ground suits us or all those things is, it's not irrelevant, but that's not our focus. It's more what we need to do to win and how we need to prepare, and the best way to make that happen.
Has getting there lifted a bit of a load, Adam? You were kind of labouring for a long time to get there, now that you are there.
Well, I think the comprehensions of us maybe not making finals, we're definitely there. Well, they're at the 25-minute mark. And expectations for us internally have been really high. So we've been inconsistent with wins this year. We haven't won 2 in a row for a long time. In between that, though, we've played some really good football. So we need to reflect on where we're at, but also understand what we need to do to take that next step. So we've got a mature group. They've trained really well. They've had real purpose with how they've trained. But what will be on Saturday night.
Have you sensed a shift in the mood as a result of getting there?
I think there's always a shift in the mood when you get to finals, whether it's the weather, whether it's the fact that they understand where the competition's at, where the game's at, the opportunity. So that doesn't need to be built up.
There's a bit of talk that perhaps Willie Rioli becomes a selection bolter. Where does that selection?
Oh, look, Willie's in the mix. Yeah, he's available. Just got to weigh up whether he's AFL ready. So he's missed a lot of football. 10 to 15 weeks of football. It's his first year, and he's probably played 1 full game at East Perth. So, having said all that, he's a player that we can't wait to see play. So whether it's this year or next, you'll definitely see him in our senior Guernsey one day.
What's changed from 10 days ago? Because we were almost joking about it at that point. But now
Oh, you might have been. Well, he's conditioned himself for another week. We've got to put him in the mix, because we're not actually batting too deep with coming forwards. So we don't want to force it. We'll see how he trains this week, and we'll make a decision on Wednesday.
Yeah, got the right temperament. Is he ready to step into a big final, his first game, and handle that?
Oh, that's the unknown. He does carry himself pretty well in terms of he's not laid back, but takes it as it comes.
The X factor he brings?
Well, yeah, it speaks for itself. Anyone who's seen him play at the lower level knows he's unique. So if he does play, that's what he needs to bring. But we've probably got different priorities at the moment. That'll be a selection issue for us, no doubt. But we need to work out how we're going to beat Port, what we need to bring, how to play our way, stop their strengths. So there's a few other things to worry about as well.
Is it fair to say Willie's more unlikely than likely?
I'm not willing to say anything yet. We'll see how he goes.
How do you make someone AFL ready when they haven't played and they've played limited time at East Perth? How do you know that they're AFL ready?
Normally it's built on preparation and performance. So he's not quite there on that yet.
You talked during the year about the importance of managing development versus the actual list and where you're at day to day. now you've got elimination final. You go back to the bugger development. Let's just get the strongest, most mature, most ardent team out there and have it.
Yeah, it's. I've spoken about it for a while that we are in a little bit of transition with our list, and you've probably seen 4 or 5 retirements in the last 5 or 6 weeks. So we're really excited about that. Excited about our future with what's coming underneath and development that we're going to need to have in our program. But we also are here for the now as well, and I've stated that from the beginning. We want to win, so we'll pick the team that we think is going to win on the weekend, and there'll be some kids in that, and there'll be some older players. So we'll get that balance right.
Are you closer though than you've ever been at East States this year to knowing what your best mix is and where they play the best footy? You look like you've reached that point over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, we rested some of our older players at stages. In the back half of the year with Pritter and Sam at stages, and Vardy even had a bit of a spell there as well. So we're not in that position at the moment. We're going to go for broke, and hopefully that planning's held us in good stead for this week.
How important has it been to be able to settle your half-back line again with Josh back in and McGovern back across half-back? That line seemed it was a pretty decisive line when you played Port the last time, and it was a pretty decisive line last time out against Adelaide.
Yeah, well, that's been difficult. We've had a lot of players, ask Shannon, to go through our back line this year, and it's been a bit of a ripple from missing JK, Elliot Yeo's development as an on-baller and pushing him down back a little bit. Liam Duggan coming in and playing that role, and we think there's a bright future there as well. So I reckon there's been 5 or 6 weeks we've been pretty settled with our back six, probably since JK's come back, and they've held up their end of the bargain, that's for sure.
The 22 that played against Adelaide, the intensity, pretty much the whole game was right up there. Do they get rewarded for that because they know the style and the effort that has to be put into such an important game?
We'll reflect on the individuals. Yeah, we had a pretty sound 4-quarter performance, which takes that into consideration. But we've got to look at what's best for Port. We've had a squad mentality all year. Like I said, we're a mature group, so we've got plenty of experience waiting in the wings. So we'll see how we go with that one. He's been an elite player this season, Ryder. In both games, he's probably got the Brownlow votes. So we've got Vardy and Petrie. I don't think Drew played in the first game. We had Lysa play on last time we played as well. So it's going to be a really difficult challenge, and we'll put all of our efforts into trying to combat that. But it's what they've got around the ball as well. It complements Ryder's ruck use, and from experience, when you get a dominant ruckman, you've got to provide the right options when the ball hits the ground as well. So that's a massive challenge for us. We're aware of it. He's been a good player all year.
Is he best cancelled out by getting a stronger contest from your ruckman, or do you need to address it at ground level?
I'd say we need both. Yeah, I think Port's ability to sustain effort around the contest pre-clearance is one of their strengths. So that's going to be a great challenge for our midfielders, and if they can stand up to it, then it'll take us a long way towards winning.
There's a chance you may play your first 2 finals in Adelaide. Have you given any thought at all to staying over and trying to cut your trouble?
No. We'll if we get over the line this week, we'll come back. It's only 2.5 hours. It's not a big flight. We can handle it. The boys have been doing it all year. So we'll hit this week. We'll plan really hard on this week, and if we succeed, we'll get on with the next week.
So in other sports you've tried it. What is it about AFL footy? What are the negatives do you think? Why wouldn't it work?
Staying for an extra week? Well, the negatives, it's just outside your routine. So I wouldn't have thought there's too many teams who do it not during the season, then get to the finals and decide to do it then. So it's a good break up throughout a year if you're playing Brisbane and the Gold Coast over 2 or 3 weeks, or it's over a bye. But we haven't done it before, so we won't be doing it next week if we happen to win.
Adam, no Jonas, no Holmes, and doubts over whether Trent Gove will play as well. Can you stretch them?
Look, can we stretch them? I think our forward line, if we get enough supply, we'll stretch anyone. So, we've stated that a number of times this year. Our issue has been we need to get repeat entries. We need to get good enough supply to let our forwards get to work. So if we can get that done, it's pretty basic, our game. And most teams are playing a similar type of style it's built on the back of the contest, getting your front half and keep it in there. And that doesn't change for us. The fact is we've got some talent up forward, but there's talent up there front half as well. So that's why that midfield battle is going to be pretty important.
So I think Josh Kennedy didn't play last time we played that man.
Yeah, I think McGovern might have played forward last time we played.
So how big an in is Josh?
Yeah, he's important to us, obviously. He's a dual Commonwealth medalist. But what we did last week, the positive out of the Adelaide game is he contributed, but it wasn't all about JK. It wasn't all about him kicking 5 or 6 goals. We spread the load pretty well, and the really good sides spread the load, and we've been relying too much on him this year in stages.
So when you talk about the supply, that in terms of playing Port, they've had the supply against you both this time of year and comprehensively beaten. What is it about Port? How do they go about stopping you from getting that?
Oh, it's not just us, it's just their brand. Their ability to do that every week has been what's got them to the spot in the ladder. So their ability to get it in their front half and keep it in there is, like I said, it's not complicated. It's built off fundamentals, but their ability to do that's been one of their major strengths this year, and it's the reason why they've gone back up the ladder.
They had nearly, I think it was 28 or 29 more inside 50s than
Yes,
last time.
I'm aware of that. Yes,
Yeah.
aware of that issue.
Yeah.
Well, the fact is, I suppose we still won that game. So if we can, you can't live off rebounding from your back 50 and conceding 70 inside 50s and hanging these blokes out to try. We're not anticipating a victory if that happens again.